Hi everyone, it's Ailin here, back again for another video. Oh boy, it's been a while since I've sat down with you guys to do a little Q&A session, and I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know where I've been. It's kind of been like a little bit of a battle these past, I guess, month or so, because you know, so many of you guys need healing that you guys kind of like broke the door down, you know, over here at Spiritual Healing. We've been seeing so many of you guys and been seeing so many transformations in your detox that it's been a little hard to keep up with everyone that's wanting to heal. But thankfully, I've been looking into, you know, hiring help, bringing more people on our team so that, you know, I'll have the chance and the time to spend you know, sitting down here with you guys and doing these Q&A videos, because I really miss it, you know. On average, I would say that I would love to do a Q&A video at least once or twice a week in the very least, but it's like all these different projects are coming up, and you know, like so many people that need healing, so many chronic and degenerative cases and people suffering are coming to us, and you know, my attention has to go there. But yeah, hopefully like everything goes smoothly now, and I've come to the point to where it's like I'm really like, even my free time, I'm turning on the camera, because that'll be the only way that I can get these videos in for you guys. But that being said, I've also been working on another project for you guys. So many of you have been asking, so like, what's going on with the detox book? The detox book that I announced like a few months back, that was almost ready. But yeah, like finally it's in its final stages, and you guys, this book, I've poured my heart and soul into this book, and I really wanted to create something that was like a transitional guide in order to slowly but surely deeply detox your body at a comfortable pace for many of you. You know, many of you have come either from a standard American diet and are just finding the raw road now, or you guys may be like a high raw or plant-based and vegan and now coming into deeper detoxification. So this book really is for people that are struggling with letting go of animal products, letting go of processed foods, letting go of dairies, animal meats, you know, and people that just don't know what to make, or just don't know what foods they should consume, and that are pretty brand new to detox. So I really wanted to create a guide for these people. But I always say that, you know, the different levels of detox, everyone can benefit from going through all the different levels. And depending on what stage you're at, sometimes you want to eat high raw, sometimes you want to eat 100% raw, sometimes you need to fast, and sometimes you need to balance yourself out. So I try to cover all those aspects in this book. That way you guys can truly benefit from it. And yeah, I think I'm going to make a separate video just, you know, letting you guys know the ins and outs of the book, what's going to be included in it, all the different detox tips I put in there, all the different recipes that are going to be in there. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Just know that you guys can sign up to the email list on my website at www.spiritualhealing.com, and then once the book is ready for pre-order, an email will be sent out to you, and the pre-order is going to include some bonuses as well, just for people that pre-order the book. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I know this detox journey can be tough sometimes, but really what it takes to see detoxification symptoms, to bring it out of you, to bring out all these different obstructions that have been occluding and causing disease in your body, it takes a certain level of hydration and alkalinity for the cells to reach that. And once your cells gain enough cellular strength, then it'll push it out. It'll purge all the obstructions, acidosis, mucus that has been causing cellular deterioration. And that's what it takes. And then that's when you'll see the emerging of these detox symptoms, cold and flu-like symptoms, fevers, body aches, you know, sinus drainage, coughing, all that stuff. And that's what you want to see to make like big strides in your detox journey. Now, not everyone's going to experience crazy detox symptoms like that, but it's really great if you can get there. there. If not, some people, they do just fine just seeing kidney filtration and just seeing mucus, mucoid plaque, and old stools coming out of them. That's fine too, but it really is dependent from person to person, you know. Today, for instance, I was speaking to a gentleman that he has throat cancer, you know, stage 4 throat cancer. And in cases like that where it's high acidity, you know, obstructions, lymph node swelling in the throat region, that's someone that would highly benefit from having a strong detox symptom, fevers and cold and flu-like symptoms. So we're really pushing forward to him achieving that in his detox sooner rather than later. That way he can fast track his detox. But yeah, that's why many people, when they're on their healing journeys, you can be on a healing journey for a while, and if you don't know what the root causes of your problems that you're dealing with, or if you don't know your specific gland and organ weaknesses as seen in your eyes, then it can take a long time to even see a little bit of progress. Like this gentleman told me today, this has been a year-long process before he finally found detoxification. He tried everything. He tried, you know, the Budwig diet, he tried the Square One diet, he has tried frankincense oil, he has tried cannabis oil, he's tried a ton of things. No results at all. It wouldn't budge. And then he saw that one cancer tumor video that I made that you guys seem to love so much. He saw that one video, he took it on himself, he ate some limes, some lemons, and literally within a few hours, the same day, his pain was gone, his swelling was gone, and he just immediately saw the transformation right then and there. So like, you know, that's why I tell you guys, like, if any of you guys are like trying to convince your families or friends that detox is the right way, it's like you can't really convince anyone. They have to take it upon themselves to try it out, and the proof is in the pudding. They'll see it within themselves once they try it, you know. But oftentimes it really takes having, you know, pain and suffering in your body for you to make those necessary dietary changes, you know, because not many people are willing to drop everything that they know and love when it comes to food, all their addictions, everything that they've been eating for all of their lives. It's very hard to drop all that and follow a raw diet. You know, it strips you down bare. It's like there's nowhere to hide, you know. If you're feeling emotional, if you're feeling stressed out, you can't really turn to food. You can't turn to cooked foods for that calming down of your negative emotions, right? So it takes a sense of a certain strong sense of character and focus and drive to follow this diet. But yeah, that's why I really want to be here for you guys, so I can be your little cheerleader, you know, so I can provide weekly encouragement and knowledge and detox tips, so all of you guys can heal up your bodies. And together, we're in this together, you know. Even me myself, like, even though I healed from all my illnesses many years back, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, endometriosis, constipation, fatigue syndrome, all that stuff, you guys can find that story on my website under the My Story tab. But you know, even though I did all that stuff, guess what? In order to maintain health in your body, you know, you can have your cheats after you heal and after you detox, but to maintain the health in your body, you should always, you know, from time to time, revisit detoxification to get rid of that mucus, you know, because we're surrounded by environmental toxins constantly. If we cheat on something, like let's say if we have like, if we go to a vegan restaurant, for instance, right, and we have like a vegan soup or a vegan pasta or vegan sandwich, you know, that's still mucus forming and acidic. And if you overindulge in that, then guess what? It's time for a cleaning. So I myself, the past few months, I was a little bit stressed, you know, I overindulged a little bit there, but now it's time to detox and clean that stuff out of me. So I'm right there with you guys. I've been doing raw again and it's been feeling fantastic. And yeah, so that's kind of like my little spiel for the beginning of this video. You know how I am, guys, like I just want to share as much as possible, and I kind of just go with the flow, go with my intuition and what I feel like you guys need to hear right now. But yeah, that being said, I definitely want to dig into your questions and answering them, because so many questions have accumulated and I have to get to all of them, you know. I really want to help you guys heal up your health issues. And I'm going to try and make it as easy for you guys to understand as possible, but also maybe provide information that you have never heard of before, so that we can give you like the missing pieces to your puzzle, to the healing puzzle, right? And for anyone that's new to this detoxification channel and detoxification in general, you guys can go to my website and there's a ton of articles there that cover the basics of detox. You guys can watch these videos. I go into more depth with like the basics of detoxification, and yeah, just like learn it all, absorb it all in. You guys can take little notes. You guys can make the dietary changes in yourself and see how you feel. Just like that gentleman, he felt immediately great, and he knew that this was the path for him, that this was the next step into healing and his road of recovery. So yeah, let's get into your questions. Okay, I'm really excited. It's been so long. Okay, so the first question is, hello, I was drawn to your page and feel it is highly needed for me to detox. Okay, I am 45 years old. I have lupus, Hashimotos, IBS. Okay, you have lupus, Hashimotos, IBS, and most recently have an ear issue, which the ENT says is due to reflux. Some sacral issues in my SI joint in the back, and female issues, Lichen Sclerosis and cystocel. To put it lightly, I'm a hot mess. I'm on vacation right now and I'm lethargic and have had a bout of what would seem like a stomach flu, though I've eaten the same as everyone else and nobody else has had any symptoms, including my 5-year-old. And we co-sleep, so I really feel it's my body's way of telling me enough is enough. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Lupus, Hashimoto's, and IBS. So what I'm thinking is, you've had a lifetime of poor eating since you're 45 years old. Lupus itself, what I see with people that come to me with lupus or Lyme's or arthritis or fibromyalgia, any of those diseases or conditions where people are feeling stiffness in their joints, feeling pain, feeling fatigued, feeling run down. I personally had fibromyalgia, so I know exactly how you feel. It's very similar in its symptoms, extremely similar. That, from what I've seen and looking at everyone's eyes and their family history and their health past, it's always stemming from systemic acidosis, chronic lymph stagnation within the body, maybe some subacute lymph stagnation, acute lymph stagnation. I've seen that, but essentially lymphatic stagnation. So what you have to realize is, you always have to think to yourself, what is the root cause of this pain? What is the root cause of this stiffness? It always goes back to the chemistry that we ingest in our bodies. We weren't born with pain. For many of us, it's been created through the years, depending on what we've eaten, because so many of us, when we were younger, we may have had some little minor health issues here and there, maybe a cold and flu-like symptom, maybe an ear infection, maybe some, swollen tonsils, things like that. Those were the acute symptoms in the beginning of like, okay, our parents are feeding us, dairy products, mucus forming foods, and our bodies were trying to get rid of it. That's why many infants, they experience fevers. It's the body trying to ward all that out, to get expectoration going, to get the fever, the acids being pushed out through the skin, So that's the body's attempt to do that when we are younger, right? But since many of us didn't know any better, we've taken antibiotics, we've taken many medications, we've had mom's chicken noodle soup, we've done many things that stopped our expectoration, our detoxification, So what happens is that acute stage of lymph stagnation moves into the subacute stages, and then for a while it might go away a little bit. It's like, okay, I don't have that anymore. I'm not dealing with that. For some reason it went away. I'm not sure why. But then years later, as that acidity builds back up again and starts to deteriorate the tissue, deteriorate the cells, the glands and the organs of the body and the systems of the body, then back again, we feel all the symptoms again, but this time even more worse, So it is often in this stage, the chronic stage, stages where people feel like they need medications again in order to not feel pain, in order to not feel stiff. So this is why so many people with Lyme's, lupus, fibromyalgia, they're on a lot of medications. Sometimes they're on steroid medications because they have so much inflammation. A lot of times they're on muscle relaxants. A lot of times they get, steroid shots, steroid creams, and all those types of things, Acidosis shows itself in many different ways in the body. Very commonly, it shows itself through pain, physical pain in, and it doesn't matter where, in the muscles, the nervous system, the joints, the bones, the skin, skin redness, rashes, eczema, psoriasis, all those things. That points to systemic acidosis in the body. Why does the body get systemic acidosis? Because the channels of elimination are just not able to handle that acidosis. For some reason, in some people, depending on their gland weaknesses and organ weaknesses, we start to see the elimination channels being closed up. This main channel of elimination and what's tied to the lymph system are the kidneys. I always see the kidneys, either the kidneys themselves are in a chronic state where kidney filtration has stopped. Kidney filtration is responsible for removing all the cellular waste from your body, because all the cells poop and pee just like we do. Every single cell is its own individual unit, its own individual life form. They intake nutrition and they expel waste, So where do all these wastes go? These are questions that oftentimes no one asks themselves, So where do all these wastes go? All these wastes, they're supposed to go through the lymph system, the body's main channel, the main sewer line, and travel to the kidneys to be eliminated. But so often, what happens when we go to medical doctors and you give them a sample of your urine? They always want to see it clear. They say, no. Cloudy, that means you have an infection. That means you're not properly hydrated. There's something wrong. When it's actually the opposite, that's true. If your urine is clear, that means you are not eliminating all the cellular waste from your body. All these cellular wastes are acids. They're acidic in nature. And if they're left to linger in several parts of the body, they start to burn and break down. That pain that you're feeling from lupus or any other type of pain in your body is the acidic burn that you're feeling, which is why the remedy is eating alkaline foods, alkaline forming foods, foods that will help pump the lymph system, move the lymphatic waste, and that's really healing and soothing to the kidneys in order to open up that channel of elimination. Not only can there be a problem with the kidneys themselves, though, there could also be a problem with the glands that control kidney filtration. All the time. Now, you mentioned you had IBS. So there's a good chance that your colon is very toxic. It's a good chance that you have chronic congestion in your colon. So if I looked at your eyes, I'd probably see right in the middle of your pupil, it looks a lot darker than the rest of your iris. That's what I often see in people with IBS. And then that perfectly correlates with the top of the iris. That's the head region. The head region, according to the eye, it sits right on top of the colon, like right where the pupil is. So if there's chronic congestion surrounding that pupil and surrounding the colon in the middle of the eye, then what we often see is that toxicity going up into the head region. This is very important because it's that pituitary gland that I often see in so many people that's down. And that's the master gland of the body. That gland controls adrenal gland function that sits on top of the kidneys. And the adrenals, their role is to release neurotransmitters that open up the kidney channels to filter. So that's often the correlation that I see. And that's what I'm seeing in your symptoms. Lupus, your kidneys are down, your adrenal glands are down, adrenals possibly not producing enough anti-inflammatory steroids, which is why you don't have that natural buffering agent for the acids. IBS, that's chronic congestion within the bowels, so much so that it's creating spasticity and inflammation within the bowels themselves. That also points to adrenal gland weakness as well, and kidney filtration issues as well, because the colon itself is a lot of different cells, and in order for you to have IBS, and in order for that lymph system to build up in and around the cells and in and around the walls of the bowels, your kidneys should not be filtering. Like, that's the whole reason why they become backed up. So to heal that, you need to achieve consistent kidney filtration as well. And then the Hashimoto's, that again ties to everything that we just said. Since the head region and the neck region sit right on top of the colon, all that colon toxicity is being brought up, having a reflex reaction to the thyroid, you know? So definitely, if you have acidosis in this region that has been burning up for a while, that can be causing Hashimoto's and low thyroid function. But some people have Hashimoto's, and I may look at their iris and they may not have a thyroid weakness itself. It could be a pituitary gland weakness influencing the thyroid with the TSH that it's supposed to be released, you know, from the pituitary gland. So there's a lot of different things to look at. I get a feeling that you have a pituitary gland weakness though, because oftentimes, you know, that colon and pituitary connection is almost always there. So let's keep on moving. Most recently have an ear issue. Okay, so that's pretty common since you seem to have a lot of congestion in this area. Let me see, sacral issues in your back, SI joint. Okay, so the lower back region, if you have kidney weakness, this tells me that you're having trouble with your kidneys. If you have you know, weaknesses in your lower back joints. And female issues. Okay, so female issues, lichen sclerosis. Okay, so lichen sclerosis, to my understanding, it's when the skin of the vulva has pigmentation changes, you know, it'll look like white patches or different patches. Sometimes there could be burning involved, could be soreness involved. Sometimes the skin can split open, but it's a depigmentation of the skin right there, you know. So if we look back at the possible kidney weakness that you have, and the fact that the lymph system, it's taken time for the lymph system to build up from the lower regions of the body, traveling all the way up to your body where it is now, then that tells me that you have acidosis and inflammation on the skin as well, and in the female system as well, and in the vulva, you know. So that's quite serious, because like I said, if acids are left on the skin for too long to fester, they can start breaking down the skin. And it's only a matter of time when these acids start to degenerate and mutate cells, you know. So many people, what I see is when they have these types of conditions, these sort of conditions, it's kind of like, and I'm not here to make a diagnosis, but that's like the next step before we start to see things like cancer rise up, you know, cancer of the female area, you know. So that's something that we want to avoid. We need to clear out all this congestion and acidosis before it gets to that point. But not only that, it could be that, or it could be a combination of, when I see depigmentation of the skin, white patches of the skin, very similar to vitiligo, this looks like it could be coming from that pituitary gland. That gland controls melanin production in the body, in the skin, okay? So you could be seeing that, but it could also be fungal. I've also seen fungal issues, fungus creating that depigmentation of the skin. But in general, if you go after all those weaknesses that I mentioned, if you know, do like a parasite kill, take the Parasite M formula, and if you douche with the Heal tea, that'll be very beneficial. You start to reach and clean out the lymph congestion within the vagina, within the cervix, within the uterus, because no doubt you have congestion there, you know. If you have IBS, the colon is right there, all that is burning up for you right there. So I would recommend that. Use that as a port to eliminate waste from that as well. Take advantage of that, you know. You can even apply a poultice of Heal tea, or you can lay in a bath of Heal tea, and that'll be very alkaline and soothing to the vulva area, you know. So you can do that. At the same time, you must clean out your colon. I would recommend starting off a little bit slow since you have IBS. I don't know how many times a day you're going to the bathroom. With IBS, you can either be very backed up, constipated, or go to the bathroom several times a day with diarrhea. It's that unpredictable because the bowel is very spastic. People with IBS have spastic bowels. You could always see it in their pupils, in their iris. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, you know? So that's something you're gonna wanna take care of. At the same time, you need to get your kidneys filtering. So stomach and bowel formula, whatever number that you need, depending on your frequency of bowel movements, and you need a kidney formula to start healing up the kidneys. The herbs in the kidney formula are very soothing and help regenerate the kidneys. Depending on how weak all these things are, and that's why it's really beneficial for me to look at your eyes, you guys, is whether you need an herbal formula or a glandular for certain areas. Most people's protocols will have a lot of herbal formulas, but some people that have chronic and degenerative issues may need glandulars for certain glands, because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is kidney filtration. You know, that's what's going to regenerate the cells. That's what's going to get rid of all lymphatic waste in and around the cells, is through the kidney channels, you know. So that's very important. Let's see what else we have going on here. Yeah, Hashimotos. So again, I would really have to see. I don't recommend anyone start taking thyroid glandulars or thyroid formulas unless they absolutely know what level of tissue weakness their thyroid is. Because it could, again, not be a thyroid issue. It could be a pituitary gland issue that's influencing that thyroid and bringing that function down. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, but it definitely, I would look into getting, you know, something that would be really fantastic for you is the female reproductive formula, because there's some pituitary herbs in there that can help bring that pituitary gland back into functioning again and calm down the Hashimotos, okay? So that's something that I can for sure recommend for you, and it wouldn't hurt. Let's see. And so you mentioned you had SIS-toe-seel. Okay, so let me see. To put it lightly, I'm a hot mess. I'm on vacation right now, and I'm lethargic and have had a bout of what would seem like a stomach flu, though I've eaten the same as everyone else and nobody else has had any symptoms, including my 5-year-old, and we co-sleep. So I really feel it's my body's way of telling me enough is enough. Exactly. So with people that with a lot of lymph congestion and lymph stagnation, they can easily catch anything. Viral loads, bacteria, all these different types of pathogens can come into the body and have a hard time leaving. So you could like have the stomach flu, and people that are plagued with constantly feeling sick and tired and run down always have lymphatic stagnation issues. But at the same time, I would double check. Do you have any lymph node swelling anywhere in your body? Because that might be pointing to some issues that may be causing that, you know? Those lymph nodes, those sites, that's where, you know, pathogens are taken, and that's where beneficial bacteria and macrophages break them down. They assist the immune system in that way. You always have to remember the lymph system is the body's main immune system. Always remember that. Okay, so let's see. And at the same time, I would probably say, along with the lymph node swelling, let me see. It depends. I would say start changing your diet to more raw. I don't know how your diet looks like right now, and you may have to take it a little slower initially, or you can go fast, depending on how you feel. So I don't know if you have started eating fruits yet and have let go of animal products and processed foods, but start making those changes, because that's going to be the only way out of all these symptoms. I'm telling you, you know, I've had personal experience, and I can't even tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of people, probably even thousands, from the people that watch these videos, that they've made those changes in their diet and they're healing up. They're either already healed or they've seen like a 90% reduction in their symptoms, you know. You just have to walk down that road to getting better, and you're going to see magnificent changes occurring in your body. So yeah, so that being said, the top fruits that I would recommend are grapes for that situation, because grapes are lymph busters. Nothing else moves the lymph system and loves the lymph system as much as grapes do. Lemons and limes are fantastic as well if your body can handle them. But I have seen in situations, it's very often the case, lupus and limes people, there's some fruits that they can't handle. There's some fruits that you might be a little sensitive to or allergic to, or you may get pain when you eat them, or you may get rashes, or you just may be like have like a severe allergy to them. I've seen that too. So just do the fruits right now that you can handle, okay? So this is what I mean when detox is really like like it's not a one size fits all. It's very specific to the individual, and that's why you guys, I recommend you guys, if you really need help, then I would recommend that you guys reach out to me so I can help you one-on-one with healing your health issues. Okay, so let's keep on going. Okay, I want to address the SIS-toe-seel that you mentioned right here. So that's pretty much pointing to a parathyroid gland weakness. So it could be pituitary related, influencing the parathyroid gland, or it could be the parathyroid gland that is down. But in a way, it is the end result of having the SIS-toe-seel, which is prolapsing of the bladder and the vaginal region. You always want to address the parathyroid gland and perk that up a little bit. It couldn't hurt, you know. Perk up the parathyroid gland, take a strong parathyroid formula, and then start immediately removing sewage from this area, because in reality it's acidosis that breaks down the parathyroid gland, and it's also acidosis that actually causes the connective tissue in several parts of the body. In this case, down here in the bladder wall, it can cause the connective tissue to leach calcium and cause the sagging of the connective tissue and even bulging into areas that it shouldn't be. So that's what I see going on in your case. Definitely you should definitely check to see if you have a parathyroid weakness, but take the pituitary gland formula definitely. And yeah, I would recommend really focus on cleaning your body first. Clean your body, and then move to like something like a parathyroid gland formula coupled with pituitary. See what your weaknesses are. I'd love to help you out. I would love to see you, speak to you one-on-one in person, look at your entire case so that I can make the best recommendations for you, but work with that, And as far as more fruits go, again, if you can handle oranges or orange juice, that's definitely going to help drain this entire region that you have going on here, the neck, the head area, and even the bowels. It'll help you eliminate better. Focus on the oranges if you can handle them, and also watermelons. Watermelons are fantastic for soothing pain. There's nothing better than soothing, alkaline, hydrating watermelon juice to help rid the body and flush it of acids that are causing pain. And they love the kidneys as well. They're very soothing to the kidneys. So yeah, definitely make those definitely make those changes. And yeah, I hope I was able to answer your question. Yeah, I definitely feel you can heal from this. Oh, there's a little bit more. You said okay, you said, any info you can send my way is highly appreciated. I'm ready to do anything to regain my health. With this recent diagnosis with my lady parts, I've resigned myself to put my health in God's hands to lead me to the proper way to fuel my body, and it led me straight to you. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you in advance. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I put these videos out for you guys, and I really firmly believe in even you guys and myself. I tell this to myself too. Always be your authentic self, because you're going to always attract the people, the right people that are like your tribe, that will hear your message, that will support you, that will be there for you. So always be authentically yourself, and you're always going to be guided in the right direction. The universe or God, whatever you want to believe, it has your back. So yeah, thank you so much. Okay, guys. I'm gonna have some orange juice. I'm so happy it's summer now, because literally every fruit is available here in the States. We got grapes. I found some fantastic organic black grapes. Oh my God. I started eating them and automatically started pushing everything out, Automatically, I felt that buzz. I felt alive, vibrant. And it's been like, this past winter and fall and spring, it's like, where are the grapes? Where are the organic grapes? I've been craving them and missing them so much. But finally, they're back here. And that's why it's so important to take advantage of the summer months. Everyone listening right now, take advantage of the summer and the fact that fruits are here, because once winter rolls around, fall, winter, spring, it's going to be much harder to follow the detoxification way to heal and the detoxification lifestyle. And it's kind of like the summer is here to purge your body, to clean it out, to clean house. That's really the spring cleaning, is the summer cleaning of your body, right? So that your body can handle the winter months, and so you're not afflicted with, you know, the latest sickness that everyone has that's going around, you know. So yeah, I recommend all of you guys to definitely take advantage of that. I don't know if you guys noticed, I cut my hair. I've been kind of like, you know, I don't know. I liked it. I felt like I needed a change. I felt like it was kind of weighing me down, and I need to chop off a few inches to feel a little bit, you know, like, because in this healing business, I can often feel like I have a huge weight on my shoulders, you know. So I felt like, energetically speaking, I just felt called to do that, to, you know, get some inches off. And yeah, I really like it. I really like it. I think they didn't tell me how many inches I got off, but I think it was like, it might have been like 4 or 5 inches. It was a lot. Yeah, like it was definitely like up to my lower back, and now it's like up to my chest region. So yeah, it was a lot that I got rid of. Okay, so yeah. So I'm going to move on to the next question, guys. Okay, number 2. Ailin, I have learned so much from your channel. I have a question about my 7-year-old son. He was born with a lazy eye. He had surgery to correct it when he was 2. However, the doctor made a medical error, and now his eye is turned in, cross-eyed. Okay, so that was like not necessary. Instead of wall-eyed, and his vision got worse in the lazy eye. As per doctor's orders, we have been patching his good eye in order to try and make his bad eye get his vision back. Oh my god, so you guys have been like forcing the eye to get better, but yeah, I've seen this type of therapy. It doesn't work. Okay, however, it has not seemed to be helping. Yeah, just like I said. The doctors want to do another surgery in order to put his eye back in the right spot cosmetically. I am wondering if you have ever worked with a child adult with a lazy eye, and have you seen it correct itself through detox? Yeah, all the time. You just have to strengthen up the nervous system, and the eye will just go right back. I've seen people can have like 10% vision, and they've gotten their vision back up to like 80-90% vision. So everything is possible. It just depends on like the level of weakness that you have in the body. Let me see. Yep, I have looked at his iris and have noticed nerve rings, sulfur buildup. Okay, like I said, nervous system weakness. Depending on how many nerve rings you see, and he's 7 years old, you know, so definitely, you know, a child doesn't go through too much stress, you know. Oftentimes nerve rings are either created through, you know, like the stresses of every single day life. That's why I often see a lot of nerve rings. I could see like up to 8 nerve rings in an adult's iris, depending on how much stress they hold within their body, and it's locked in, depending on how many traumatic experiences they've been through. And that's degeneration of the nervous system, you know. Acidosis can do that. Acidosis can destroy the myelin sheaths. But in this case, it might be a central nervous system weakness, you know, that can also cause lazy eye to occur, or vision loss to occur, you know. So you really have to take a look at that. Let me see. But yeah, like I said, it's probably definitely a genetic thing, because a child doesn't really go through too much stress. So he has sulfur buildup. That's very interesting. So I'm wondering if he had any other health issues in the past that you guys maybe gave him some antibiotics for, and that's why he has that sulfur buildup, and it locked itself into the colon wall, into the bowel wall. That itself could be reaching up into the head region and causing a lot of stagnation, and actually causing suppression of the nerve flow into the iris. I'd be curious to see what his cerebellum region looks like, the back of the head region. That's located on the top of the iris. You know, the optic nerve wraps itself onto the cerebellum region and up into the eye region, and that controls vision, and that can control you know, the experiencing of lazy eye or not. So that optic nerve is something that you'll want to get looked at, and see if he has deterioration in the eye region within the iris. the eye region within the iris, see how his cerebellum region looks like, see how much inflammation, acidosis he has there, see if there's poor circulation within the head region, see if there's a lot of nerve rings going through the actual brain and eye region to see if there's a connection between that with the autonomic nervous system and the central nervous system. So there's a lot of things that could be going on here, but definitely if he's having those head issues, and being a child, children are fantastic to detox because they haven't had as much wear and tear as adults have. And also their channels of elimination have not been blocked up as much as adults have. So you have a good chance here to go after the colon, and you should see a lot of elimination from his bowels, you know. If you start putting him on the fruits and start putting him on simple, basic formulas, give him a stomach and bowel formula, a kidney formula, maybe like a little lymph formula, lymphatic number 1, brain and nervous system formula. That's excellent for children. Adrenal formula. He probably needs that too, depending on the weaknesses that you see in his eyes. That's the route that I would go. And you'll most likely see a lot of purging, a lot of bowel movements, you know, and that's perfectly natural. Children can pass huge stools, and then, you know, it can get the parents thinking like, oh my god, where's this coming from? How can that come from such a tiny little body, right? See it all the time. All obstructions within the colon region. And you know, after that, you may even need to move into using the GI broom, you know. If he's able to swallow capsules, he can take the GI broom capsules, experiment a little bit with that there, so he can start removing the sulfur that you see in his iris. Something else that is fantastic at removing sulfur is watermelon, you know. Have him eat watermelon like every single day. Have him drink watermelon juice every single day. That will help pull on the lymph system and get rid of that sulfur, you know. Sulfur itself, guys, if you guys don't know what sulfur is or what sulfur does, I have an article on my website called What is Sulfur, and it digs deep into how sulfur from antibiotics, sulfur from sulfur medications, sulfur from body care products, all that is ingested by our bodies, you know. And sulfur is a fungal proliferant. Fungus loves sulfur. It's also a lymphatic suppressant. It also kills off the beneficial bacteria in the body. So sulfur is pretty harmful, you know, and sulfur itself is an acidic gas. So it also causes tissue degeneration. So there's a lot to think about there, but definitely go to my website, guys, and read that article if you haven't already. It'll provide a lot of information there. He has brown eyes, but true blue eyes. So you probably saw the blue eyes coming through his nerve rings, right? And so yeah, I'm wondering like how brown they are. But if that's the case, that means that he has a long way to go. If, you know, like I almost wish that he had brown eyes, like true brown eyes. See, like, get that checked. Like, I would really have to see if he had true blue eyes or whether it's true brown eyes. But if he has true blue eyes, he has you know, a bit of a journey. But like I said, with children, they detox pretty quickly. So it would be nice to see, you know, if in a few months time you do these recommendations, you follow this little protocol that I gave you, and maybe in like 3 months time, retake his iris photos in the same settings, in the same conditions, with the same camera, the same lighting, and see what changes were made. If you can see more blue coming through, if you see less chronic lymph stagnation within his eye, and if you see the brown stagnant lymph going away, you know, if someone has true brown eyes, if one of you out there are watching and you have true brown eyes, it doesn't mean your eyes are dirty, okay? You can see the different shades of brown within a true brown iris, and it should be on the lighter brown side than the darker brown. If you see dark brown and if you see black, then that's a problem. Then that denotes stagnation of the lymph system or obstructions or tissue degeneration, you know? But in blue eyes, if someone has a true blue eye and they see like little hints of blue coming through and there's a lot of brown in there, then that's a problem. Then that denotes toxicity within that iris, you know? So in a blue eye, if you see brown, it's toxic, but in a brown eye, if you see dark shades of brown, then that's toxic, you know what I mean? So that's how that goes. So I can clear that up for you guys. Let me see. True blue eyes. I have also seen kidney and adrenal weakness. Well, that's his main issue right there. And so many children nowadays are being born with kidney and adrenal weakness. I see it all the time. And all the eyes that we get, I work with so many children and I see all the time. It doesn't even matter what health issue they're facing. I get children with eczema. I get children with asthma. I get children with, what was the latest case that I had? Autism. Children with autism, they even have kidney and adrenal weakness. Kidney and adrenal weakness. Autism is correlated with having an adrenal weakness, you know? So definitely, I would say that you are correct. You hit the nail right on the head there with that. He also gets stressed easily and shows signs of anxiety. Yeah, you see? So yeah, I would say definitely give him an adrenal gland formula. Like we said before, give him something for his kidneys. If he gets stressed very easily, shows signs of anxiety, try and put maybe diffuse calming essential oils in a diffuser in his bedroom, you know, like lavender or like maybe some peppermint or little things like that, you know. You can even give him maybe like some chamomile tea. That's also very nice and soothing. Yeah, things that are that will calm him down and de-stress him while he's detoxing. He has never been vaccinated, thank goodness, because you never want to give a vaccination in a child that has many nerve rings. That's when you always see, you know, those vaccine injuries, is if someone has nerve rings and an adrenal weakness, you see vaccination injuries. You'd never want to take the risk, you know. And I'm glad that he's not vaccinated, because he might have fallen under like the ADHD or autism spectrum if that were the case with the vaccinations, you know. Any insight you would have would be great. Thank you so much. Like I said before, just strengthen up the nervous system. That's his main issue. And getting rid of the acids, draining the acids from the eye region and the head region. You know, he might benefit from having a little bit of a fever. You know, if he goes up to like 103, that's perfectly fine. If he starts to reach higher and you get like a little bit worried, there's little things to help calm the fever down. You can do things like feverfew or catnip, or you can do like cold packs. You can do cold packs to the back of the head, the cold towels right on his forehead. You can do like cold baths, but you know, just monitor his fever, watch his fever. And if, you know, intervention is needed to like with a medication to bring the fever down, then that's fine. But always provide a lot of hydration when a child has a detox symptom, you know. So provide a lot of fresh fruit juices. Fresh grape juice is fantastic. Coconut water is fantastic. Orange juice is fantastic. All fresh and raw. And yeah, and you know, if you need more tips on detoxing him, I have an article on my website called How to Detox Children. It goes even more in depth with it, but here I kind of wanted to cover his specific weaknesses, you know. So adrenal, colon, you know, the nervous system, the kidneys, the lymph system, do the stomach and bowel, do the GI broom, and yeah, everything will start to move in and out of his body, and he'll start to see the bettering of his symptoms just like that. That's how fast children respond. They're fantastic. But I am wondering like what his constitution looks like, if he's a strong constitution or a weak constitution. If he has a lot of black lesions in his eyes when you examine it, then he's a weaker constitution person, okay? If the fibers are wavy, if he has a lot of holes, black holes, gray holes in his eyes, then he's a weaker constitution. If he doesn't look like he has too many weaknesses, then he's a strong constitution type. That means that whatever you give him, his body's going to readily take and start removing all obstructions, all stools, mucus, mucoid plaque, kidney filtration, all that stuff will start to come out of him very easily, right? You know, in this case, if he was an adult, I would recommend the eye wash formula, you know, the eye wash tincture, but then that requires, you know, like cocking the head back and putting it in a little eyeglass and letting the solution bathe the eye, the affected eye, so you can start pulling on the lymphatic waste on the eye itself, you know, to address it internally as well as externally. But I don't know if he'll let you do that, you know. Children, they might not let you do that. Even some adults are scared to do that, but it's not a scary thing, you know. It's very simple, you know, it's just a few seconds and then it's over and done with. And it's actually really pleasant because you no longer see eye floaters when you start using that formula. Your vision just gets so much sharper and better. So yeah, so those are my recommendations, and yeah, I hope this helped you. Okay, so yeah, wonderful. Okay, we're on a roll here. I hope I'm not giving you guys too much information. I just like to address every possible little thing so I can help you guys as much as possible, you know. I would love some feedback on these videos. If you like the format of these videos, or if you want to see different types of videos, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you enjoy these Q&A videos, you know, because like lately I've been thinking like, okay, what is it that, how can I help more people? What is it that you guys want to see? Do you want to see more Q&A videos? Do you want to see more topic videos discussing a specific type of disease? Or do you want to see more videos on detoxification symptoms? Do you want to see more like case study videos or iridology videos or client cases that are healing or healed? Like, what type of videos do you want to see? And if I haven't mentioned something and you guys have a new idea, you know, I'm open to suggestions, bring it forth. And yeah, I always want to keep things on this channel fresh, so that you guys can, you know, like, feel like you can always be learning from something from these videos. You know, I myself, like, I don't like to stay stuck in one thing. I always like to expand and improve and evolve, you know, and I want this to be the case for this channel as well, you know. So yeah, do let me know, you guys. Leave a comment down below and I will get back to you and I will read them. And leave a like if you like this video so far as well. If you enjoy the Q&A videos, that'll let me know as well. Okay, so I am going to go down to the next question. Okay, so this question says, can you address pinguiculas on the white of the eyes? I have had one since age 12. Wow. I don't know how old you are, but I've had one since age 12 and it has faded a lot through lifestyle changes, diet, healing, etc. But I'm wondering if, in your experience, if it will ever fade completely. Thank you, much love. So, from what I've seen, honestly, I don't know if I've seen one yet completely fade away. Because I think that would take a few years, to be honest with you. I've seen, like you have seen, those types of things, like anything on the sclera, any brown pigmentation, anything obstructing the whiteness of the sclera like that, I have seen it reduced significantly, you know. But at the end of the day, you have to think about it this way. Acids on the sclera itself, on the eye tissue itself, lymphatic stagnation on the tissue itself can form like blobs, or can form tumors, or can form things like this, you know. So the more someone is able to clean up their colon and clean up the head region, and that in turn cleans up the eyes, you know, acidosis is pulled from the eye tissue, then those areas, the main root cause of, you know, those deposits being on the iris and the sclera, that'll start to go down and go away. So to answer your question, yeah, I've seen it go down significantly. But, you know, by that point, many people, I just don't keep in contact with people. Like, maybe they have gotten rid of it completely, but at that stage, even before that, you know, the body goes after what's the most important. condition. So I kind of lose contact with people after they've completely healed their bodies. And I would definitely see, like, why not? If they kept on going with their detox after they've healed their major health complaints, they kept on going, I would see that disappearing, definitely. I have seen before and after photos of other people that have gotten rid of it, you know, within my case studies, within my studying of iridology, I've seen before and after photos of that. But personally, the clients that come to me suffering from like more severe health issues than that, that honestly, that stuff kind of comes secondary to them, you know, and so it goes away, you know, it starts going away. But yeah, I really don't keep in touch with them at that point, you know, and it's just so many other people that come to me that need healing, like cancers and tumors and MS and Parkinson's, and just so many things, you know. So yeah, I think that if you kept on going, I think that you would heal it up completely. I would see no reason why. I would recommend the eye wash tincture. If that's something very important to you, always do and pull on the lymph system in the eyes with the eye wash formula, you know, and even take the eye wash tincture internally as well, so you can heal up the eye tissues. Yeah, like my most recent case of the Pinguiculas, I always have trouble pronouncing this, Pinguicula. My most recent case, it was maybe like a month ago. This lovely lady, she's healing like her heart issues. She has many heart issues, and just as a byproduct of following the detox diet, you know, her grandmother actually noticed, like, oh wow, that thing you had in your eye, it's going away, like that's amazing. And then she noticed it and she told me, and yeah, it's gone down by a lot. But maybe I'll bring it up in a future video. I should be having a follow-up with her, you know, maybe in a few weeks or in a month or two. So yeah, I'll let you guys know, if I remember, I'll let you guys know how she's doing with that. And I actually have been wanting to do just a video on her healing success story, so that would definitely be included in that video. But yeah, that's my recommendation. And for people that say that it's caused by, like, you know, wind or by debris or by UV lights from being out in the sun, that's not the case. It's just acidosis, okay? Just clear up the acids from your eyes. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go on to the next question. Okay, great video, thank you. I don't know what video you're referring to, but thank you. I have a question. How can one strengthen and heal the pancreas? Okay, so to heal the pancreas, you always have to remember the pancreas, as well as the liver, gallbladder, are just branches of the same tree. That tree being the colon, that tree being the GI tract. Whenever people have colon obstructions and colon issues, the next thing is going to be affected is their digestive system, because there's 4 processes that the body uses to, you know, break down foods, like from when the food enters your mouth all the way till it's eliminated, right? The 4 processes are digestion, which is, it occurs in the stomach, occurs in the pancreas, occurs in the liver. Absorption, which occurs in the small bowel. Utilization, which the glands of the body are responsible for that, especially the adrenal glands. Nutritional deficiencies often stem from these adrenal glands being weak, you know? So iron, B12 deficiencies stem from that right there. And the 4th process is elimination. So from what I see, from having done this for several years, it's a process that happens in the body. First, elimination is affected. Someone can have IBS or constipation or diarrhea. In some way, elimination within the colon is affected. That points to lymph waste rising up in the colon, breaking down the colon. This lymph system is connected to that GI tract, and it's connected, what's the first branch? The pancreas, okay? So for you to heal this pancreas, you're gonna have to drain that lymph through the colon. Now, this is what happens with people that have digestive issues, especially when I look at someone's eyes and they have a pancreas weakness. Those obstructions, and the lymph congestion, it took time for that to happen in order to reach the pancreas, you know, if the pancreas weakness was created in their lifetime, you know. So I guess you would say what type of pancreas issues are you having? What symptomology are you having? You know, are you having gas, bloating, undigested food in your stools? Are you moving the foods through your body too fast? Are you excessively thin, malabsorbed? Do you have moles on your body? All these things point to failure to completely break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats and greens in the body, okay? So a true pancreas weakness would show those symptoms. If you have those symptoms, you need to address your pancreas. But you can take a pancreas formula, no doubt, and it'll significantly improve your digestion, right? It'll perk up your digestion, it'll start healing the tissue. But to really reach the healing of the pancreas, you're going to have to address the colon first, because it's connected lymphatically to the pancreas and the liver gallbladder as well. You see what I'm saying? You have to drain it, you know? So I would recommend that. I would recommend herbs for the pancreas. I recommend the pancreas formula that I recommend to my clients. Or if you have degeneration of the pancreas, meaning you have all the symptoms associated with pancreas weakness, you may need a pancreas glandular. And sometimes it's necessary if you're extremely thin. You know, I've seen people where they've eaten a piece of fruit and they've passed it just the same. All the fiber, everything, the color, it's in their stools, whether that's watermelons or apples or grapes, it's nothing but fruit fiber or whatever it is that they eat. They pass it just the same, you know? So the pancreas is responsible for that. So in those cases, if you're not completely breaking down your foods, then guess what? You're not adequately getting your nutrition from them, you know? That brings me to this other point. Sometimes the symptoms that point to having a pancreas weakness may not be a pancreas weakness itself. That's why it's very useful to check the eyes. If someone does your case and looks at your case and doesn't check your eyes, it's not 100% accurate, you know? Because symptoms, there could be a weakness within your stomach that can show itself as possibly having a pancreas weakness, you know what I mean? Yeah, so like if you feel your food sitting in your stomach, you know, or if you're very thin or malabsorbed, you know, it could be pancreas weakness, it could be a stomach weakness, or it could be, this is the third one, it could be just mucus obstructing the intestines, the small intestines, where you're not absorbing the full nutrition from your foods in the villi itself. So yeah, ultimately it really depends on what symptoms you're showing and what you show in your eyes, you know. And your genetic family history is very useful too, because if you see that, like, let's say for instance someone in your family has had pancreatic cancer, or someone in your family has had diabetes, you know, or anything like that, then most likely you have genetic pancreas weakness, meaning the genetic memory of those cells in the pancreas, they are failing, you know. It's within their design if you eat the wrong foods to start failing, okay? But genetic weaknesses can be reversed. You start eating the correct foods, everything will start to reverse itself, you know, back to healing, back to health, okay? So yeah, so I would say that, but yeah, definitely go that route, clean up the colon, and take a pancreas formula, and take herbs for the colon, and obviously always for every single person, always address the kidneys, because that's the main channel of elimination of the body. Okay, so we're on a roll here, guys. Okay, here's the next question. Awesome video, Ailin. You're such a big motivation to continue on the path of healing myself and others, future detox specialist. Okay, I would love a part 2. I would love you to address menstruation. Oh, I think you might have left this comment underneath the detox symptoms, physical and emotional detox symptoms video. Yeah, you guys really liked that video. I've been meaning to do a part 2. Today I was thinking, should I do a part 2 of that one, or should I do a Q&A? And I was like, let me sit down and do a Q&A, because you guys will be mad at me if I don't do a Q&A. But then the next video I might do the part 2 the next time I film. Okay, I would love for you to address menstruation. I have had my menstruation only once in my life, when I was 14, eating SAD diet, standard American diet. And now I'm 18, going on 19, and never had it again. I changed my diet to vegan at 16 and fully raw at 17 with herbs and the discovery of Dr. Morse. I'm only 5'2" and 95 pounds. Wow. So like you changed your diet at such a young age. That's really amazing. You have a good head on your shoulders for caring about your health so much. But from what I see, menstruation always stems from like menstruation irregularities, not having your menses, that always stems from your pituitary. I'll always often see a huge lesion going up into the head region when I look at your eyes. In people that have pituitary gland weaknesses, that pituitary gland controls and regulates the menstrual cycle every single month. But I would also at the same time look to see how weak your ovaries are, because that can also have a tie to menstrual irregularities. I've seen that all the time as well. So let me see. You are 5'2". Okay, so that's pointing to pituitary weakness. In women that are shorter, I would say I see the most pituitary gland weaknesses in women that are shorter than 5'6". That's kind of like a woman should be around 5'6", 5'7", around that height range, because usually in the teenage years or in the growing years, if you have a pituitary weakness, your growth is stopped, your growth is stumped. There's that growth hormone that comes from the pituitary gland. So it's showing that if you're shorter in height, you have pituitary weakness. And you're 95 pounds. Okay, so you're a little bit on the shorter side, 95 pounds, that's okay. My mom has a past of ovarian cysts. Okay, that's what we were saying right there. You have to look at your ovaries. You have to see. She most likely passed down her ovarian weakness to you, since you were tied to your mother's lymph system when you were in the womb and sharing that. I myself have a history of that. Not a history of ovarian cysts, but a history of having female reproductive issues, because guess what? It ran in my family. And only when I started eating raw and started taking the herbs for my weaknesses did I correct all those things. So yeah, that's what I see all the time in young women especially. I have very weak adrenal glands with several nerve rings in my eyes. Okay, so yeah, the adrenal gland weakness, that's most definitely probably preventing you from filtering from your kidneys, which that's the only reason why ovarian cysts form. Ovarian cysts are like tumors growing on the ovaries. They're pockets of lymphatic fluid. So you really have to reach at achieving kidney filtration in order to drain that, to clean it out. All the lymph sewage will then go away. But the adrenals are something you have to address. Nerve rings in your eyes, that points to systemic acidosis. Your myelin sheaths are breaking down. That's not good. I always say that's very bad, because if you have neurological weaknesses, that can lead to worse things in the future. Okay, so we're talking about nerve degeneration here. We're talking about things like MS, or like being bedbound, or in a wheelchair. You have to correct these issues now. My blood pressure now is around 90/60. Okay, your bottom number looks good, but your top number is quite low. So I'm wondering if you're feeling fatigued from that, because 90 is an extremely low number for it to be that top systolic number for the health of the adrenal glands. That's very low. So you may want to look into taking some licorice to increase your blood pressure and monitor your blood pressure while you're doing that to see if you feel better. Okay. And when I started my healing journey, it was only 74/58. That's fantastic that you've been able to heal your adrenals that much. That's really great. Okay, so you keep on addressing your adrenals. If you haven't already, take adrenal herbs. It depends on your level of deterioration. I would have to see your eyes. If you have a black lesion, if you have a black lesion on that adrenal gland area, then I would say you definitely need a glandular. Since you're relatively young, you probably have very bad adrenals. Let me see. My mom and dad have hazel eyes, which are true blue, but I seem to have true brown eyes. Is this possible? I'm not sure. I'd have to see. Maybe one of your parents has true blue eyes, and then another one might just have really light brown eyes, or maybe both of them have really light brown eyes that look like hazel. That's very possible. I've seen people have extremely light brown eyes that look like they might be hazel, but they're not, So I'd have to check. Let me see. And you have true brown eyes. I wonder, like, maybe you have so much chronic lymph that it looks brown now, but it might be blue. You know that? I've also seen that. That's a big possibility. With the symptoms that you described to me, you know, with the disappearing of your menstrual cycle, the ovarian cyst, the nerve rings, it's very possible that you have chronic lymph stagnation in your eye, and that it could be covering up. You know, it could be covering up your eyes from showing their true hints of blue. So yeah, those are just some of the possibilities. I'd have to look at your eyes. Okay, so much love and light, and I hope you can help me, smiley face. Yeah, I would just say same thing. If you haven't had your menstrual cycle, you need a pituitary glandular. Just get on a pituitary glandular and go after cleaning out your colon, because there's always that connection with the pituitary and the colon. Clean that out. That's also going to get rid of the ovarian cysts. So your herbal protocol should look like something for your kidneys, something for your bowels, so stomach and bowel. I would definitely get on the GI broom. If you've been raw for this long, you're definitely going to benefit from being on the GI broom. You know, people shouldn't just automatically jump on the GI broom if they haven't done the work with the diet first. That's where a lot of people go wrong. You know, the GI broom is not like some miracle that's going to work if you haven't done the work with the diet first. You have to loosen things up with the diet first and then go in with the GI broom to sweep everything up. You know what I mean? So it looks like you are there. So I would say go on the GI broom. And yeah, kidneys, lymph, keep on moving the lymph system and everything will correct itself. You know? You're very young. You have your whole life ahead of you. You don't want your issues to get worse. I've seen issues like this get worse. So just like nip it in the bud, you know? And like just, I don't know. Young people, they're so open-minded, and it's like it's a beautiful thing because it's what this next generation needs. You know, we need the future parents and the future children to be eating more raw to correct these genetic weaknesses, because if not, guys, it's gonna get so bad where, you know, like everyone will start developing cancer, and it seems that way even now, you know, or everyone will have a chronic disease. I think the statistic is one out of 2 people in the US have a chronic illness, at least one chronic illness or more. So it's pretty bad, and you know, that's what it's gonna have to take, is the consciousness evolving in being focused on raw foods and being vegan, you know, raw vegan and high fruit-based diet, you know, and it's better for children to grow up with eating those foods, you know, to give them the best chance at life. You know what I mean? Because yeah, I mean, like even with the case that I talked to today, that poor man, you know, he has the throat cancer now, but guess why? He had tonsillitis when he was younger, and what did they do? They removed his tonsils. They removed them, you know, they didn't know any better. And for such a simple lymph issue, for such a simple thing, like he could have just drank some orange juice, ate some oranges, ate some fruit, and then it would have resolved itself, you know. But no, you know, and it's kind of it's archaic thinking that people are still drinking milk, you know, and not to like bash anyone that's still drinking milk. I'm not saying that, but like you guys should like take responsibility for your health into your own hands. You know, the medical system has been failing people for many years, for several years, and more people are turning to the natural way of thinking and natural way of healing themselves. And that's the direction that we have to head, guys, because milk and dairy products, they're just killing everyone. It's killing everyone. There's no benefit from it. Even raw dairy is very mucus forming still, you know. Okay, so I hope that helped you out. I hope that answered your question. Okay, let's see. I think I might do one more question, guys. It's pretty late. It's 10 o'clock at night now, and I have to finish some cases up here. And then tomorrow was supposed to be my day off, but it looks like I'm gonna probably have to work. So yeah, so I'll finish up here, guys. Okay. Thank you, Ailin, for your fantastic videos. You are so good with bringing this information. Thank you. I really try. And like, I I don't know, I have a lot of fun explaining all these things to you guys. I could talk about detox all day, every day. I even did, before this video, I spent 3 hours on a call with someone, you know? Just my passion never, I don't know, it's always burning. It's never gonna go out. I feel like it will never go out. As long as you guys are suffering, my passion will never go out, you know? As long as the last person is healed on earth, it won't go out, you know? And unfortunately, that's not gonna happen anytime soon. So yeah, I'm here guys. I'm here for the long haul to help you heal. Okay, so please, will you do a video on how to heal chronic fatigue syndrome and what it is? You know, I really should. That's something that everyone has. And I think that's probably why I've overlooked it, because practically everyone has chronic fatigue syndrome or some level of fatigue nowadays. That's why you see people like being addicted to stimulants or coffee, you know, any sort of stimulant to kind of just help them get through the day. But that's definitely leading to adrenal burnout. But you know, chronic fatigue syndrome, it's interesting because not all the time does it stem from the adrenal glands. I've seen it stem from several different places in the body. Like having a thyroid weakness can also translate to having low energy in the body. Adrenals, that's pretty obvious. Adrenals can also translate to having low energy as well. But you know, there's another sort of fatigue that is much more serious, you know. And it's kind of sad when I see it get to this point, because people, when they reach this level of chronic fatigue weakness, they have to work hard to get their health back. And this chronic fatigue stems from having a low oxygenation within the body. And this can be caused by several things. It can be caused by a neurological weakness, you know, people having that shortness of breath, people having trouble taking a deep breath, people forgetting to even breathe. That stems from a medulla brainstem weakness, that autonomic nervous system response to breathe. That not getting enough oxygen into your cells fast enough can create fatigue syndrome, because that's what the cells run on, is oxygen, you know, to create ATP. That's the energy of life that sustains life. That and sugar, you know, oxygen and sugar, that's what's needed for the cells to run. So I would say that, yeah, chronic fatigue can even stem from that. But there's also several other factors that go into it, like different glands and organs. I really should make a video just on that. But to cover it all, generally speaking, you know, you really have to remove the stagnation in the lymph system in those areas that I mentioned. You know, because if you're backed up in your head, the back of your head, the medulla or the brainstem as it's known, you can start to see neurological symptoms such as trouble breathing, you know, or you know, trouble swallowing. That's also another thing. Or people that blink too much, or people that you know, like just any automatic responses like that. I've seen that very often. And so, yeah, people can become bedbound and in wheelchairs from this debilitating fatigue. So yeah, I think I will make a video on that. That's a really good topic. Thank you for that recommendation. Let me see what else you said. Okay. It would be really nice to hear your take on it. Like if there are different aspects of it. For example, mine started with the flu. Thank you. Okay, so if yours started with the flu, that's very interesting, because, you know, from my own journey, from when I had fibromyalgia, my fibromyalgia illness, I do remember my chronic fatigue syndrome also starting with having some cold and flu-like symptoms. But from what I see it, I really believe that all it takes is like that tipping point, you know? It doesn't mean that the flu caused your chronic fatigue syndrome. It just means that it took the body further down, a notch down. In order for a flu to thrive in the body, or for any type of viral load to thrive in the body, it has to be very acidic, very stagnant, have many weaknesses going on, you know? Viruses themselves, they're magnetically attracted to weaknesses. So if you have lesions in your eyes, many different lesions, that's where viruses go. Now, viruses don't hold any life. You can think of them as like proteolytics, as like protein markers, you know, that are attracted, and in the scope of nature, that's what nature does. It tries to get rid of weaknesses, you know? So you can't really blame nature, because nature is always going to do what it does. You just have to follow the laws of nature. That's why it's called following the laws of Mother Nature. Otherwise, she's a very strict mother. You know what I mean? So it following in line with her laws, you must eat according to your species, according to what you were designed to eat, anatomically speaking, on a physiological level, you know, which are fruits and raw foods, and some greens, maybe some seeds, maybe some nuts if you're not suffering with a chronic health issue, you know. It's very, very sparingly, but the majority of your diet should be fruits, you know. And unfortunately, we have to go now to these fasting levels because human beings have just driven themselves into chronic states of lymph stagnation, you know. So that's what I see very often in people that suffer with chronic fatigue. They have chronic lymph stagnation all throughout their eyes. If they claim to have gotten it after having some sort of flu, yeah, that's what I see is chronic lymph stagnation. And all it takes is just that little outside factor to tip it over the scale. And then boom, you know, it's too much stress for the body to handle. The immune system goes down and shuts down, you know. So there are a lot of factors going on with that. But I would definitely have to take a look at your entire case to see exactly what's going on. But yeah, definitely I'll cover that in the future. I wouldn't say that the flu caused a chronic fatigue syndrome. If anything, I would say the stress from going through that, you know, may have tipped your adrenals to the other side, tipped the scale, creating this chronic fatigue syndrome. Or you could even have such debilitating chronic congestion and acidosis that itself, just from a congestive standpoint, can be bringing down the function of your glands. So I would have to look at your eyes, or take a look at your eyes yourself and see where you are with that. But yeah, guys, so that's the end of this Q&A. I'm wondering how long it turned out to be. I'm guessing maybe up to an hour. I'm hoping. I want to give you guys as much information as possible. And yeah, guys, remember, if you guys want to be updated on the detox recipe book, the transition to detox book, you know, I coined it. I'm calling it the Master Your Detox book, because it's really going to empower so many people to become a master of their own health, to finally take control of their health, you know. And that book is going to provide everything you need to get started with your diet. It's going to have, you know, like the shopping list of everything that's acceptable for you to eat during your detox, all the you know, all the worst offenders, what you need to get rid of, some tips and tricks to help you stay the course with your detox journey, because I know cravings can hit hard and make it difficult to stick with it long term. So there's going to be it's going to be chock full of information. And like, you know how thorough I am, guys. Like, this book definitely ended up being like over 130 pages long, which is why it's taken me so long to get it out to you guys. But I wanted it to be like perfect. I wanted it to be something that I could be proud of, and that I could share with anyone and they would benefit from it. So yeah, if you guys want more information on that, sign up to the email list on my website. It's on the front page if you just scroll down, and you'll be notified when the book is going to come out for pre-order, so you guys can get your hands on that. And I'm really excited. I want to see what you guys think of it, and I know it's going to heal up so many of you. And yeah, and like I'm already thinking of plans for the next books, you know. I'm going to provide everything possible that you guys need to heal yourselves up, because I really believe no one should be suffering in this world, you know. Coming from personal experience, it's the worst thing ever. It makes you want to not live life anymore, you know. Some people, they are in those stages, and it breaks my heart into a million pieces, but I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to stay strong for you guys, and yeah, you guys are going to heal everything up. You'll see. And yeah, so definitely if there's any of you out there that are suffering with any sort of disease where you're not getting it, you know, where you've been on this healing journey and you feel like you're missing pieces to this puzzle, or you know, you can't do it alone, or you feel like you don't know what foods to eat, or what your weaknesses are, you know, the weaknesses are very important, then I recommend that you guys work with me one-on-one. Definitely I recommend the Master Your Health package. That's the package that has everything that you guys need to get you started. You know, I'll provide the correct diet protocol for you based on what I've examined from your case, from your genetic family history, from what's seen in your eyes, everything that you needed. It's going to be 100% accurate to get you kickstarted on your healing journey strong. It also is going to provide the herbal protocol, the iris report, you know, health notes that I've taken on your case, as well as the detox tools, because detox tools is something that's also very important. Like the eye wash that was mentioned in this video, there's several different things, douching, there's several different things that you can do to open up the channels of elimination and fast track your healing even faster, you know. So yeah, I recommend the Master Your Health package, guys, and that can be found on my website at www.spiritropicalhealing.com. So yeah, I look forward to working with many of you, with all of you, and yeah, just leave a like on this video and subscribe if you like these videos, and leave a comment down below. I want to hear your suggestions and your questions for the next Q&A video. Keep them coming. We're going to answer all of them. Okay, so take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.